Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I just saw a clip of Gilbert Arenas. Um, he was on his show, and the lady on his show, I can't remember her name, but she asked him, how much he made in his career. He said 171. She said, if you had a chance to instead make 120 and win a championship ring, would you do that? And he said, F no. The rings cost $500,000. I am not paying $50 million for a championship ring. And then some people in the comment section were saying, since he's a superstar, he probably could have parlayed that championship into endorsements that would have made him more money. I agree with that, to a degree, depending. But that's not what was asked. What was asked was, would he give up $50 million of his own money for an opportunity at championship? Now, there are a lot of different ways to look at this. For me, we've had a lot of different conversations about players investing in their teams so that the team can be good enough to win a championship, and investing in their team so that they're not taken away from players on their team that ultimately keep them healthy, because you need backups, guys that are on your squad who will allow you to be able to win games if for some reason you're not playing because you're hurt as a superstar. You're going to need your backups. But when you start thinking about what generational wealth is about, when you start thinking about what the grand scheme of the world is about, and what you can do with $50 million, it's hard to argue with Gilbert Arenas, man. It's hard to argue with that. Now, if you want to catch me beforehand, before I have that money, and say, you're wealthy already, you got $120 million, and I'm chasing a ring for my personal standards, I need to win a championship. If it's on my heart like that, I'm trying to compare myself to the greats who've ever done it, it means that much to me, then depending on the person and where they're at, I can definitely support somebody making that type of decision. But if you're asking me in the situation I'm in right now, or I'm living in a hotel, if it makes any sense at all to do that, hell no, it don't. No, friends, no. Money is not my God. Championships matter. But there is a such thing as generational wealth that you want to pass to your children. And while we've had the conversation, this may make me sound like a hypocrite because we've had this conversation about Dame Lillard. My point of view on Dame Lillard was that he was taking the maximum amount from the team and leaving barely any at the time, so it seemed to me, for his teammates to be any good. So he wanted a championship situation, and he wasn't willing to sacrifice the funds for it. And I was saying basically it would be best for him to do that for a number of reasons. But what I'm telling you is, in the situation I'm in right now, I don't think I make that decision either. I think I've changed my mind. I think a championship rings means a lot. It's too much. To a fan, to a player, especially if your legacy's on the line, you only live one time, you're trying to be compared to the best, this, that, and the third. But if you're Gilbert Arenas and you ain't got no shot at being Kobe, no shot at being Michael, no shot at being Magic, but you're great enough to get $170 million, yeah, man, after his career is over, when he's sitting back enjoying his wealth, no, he don't want to give up $50 million for an opportunity. It's something that may or may actually not happen. Championships are you can sacrifice and still not win it. You could do everything you're supposed to and still not win it. You could do what he did and still find yourself in a championship situation. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you start talking about the grand scheme of things and what matters in life, basketball is important to those who love it. Like myself, I love it. But wealth is going to transcend your sport. It's going to transcend all of those things. And there's a lot of good things that you can do with that amount of money. Now, if we're talking about less money than that, maybe so. But $50 million? I don't think I can do that for $50 million. I don't think I would advise anybody to do that for $50 million, fam. I don't think so, unless you're in a billionaire state, or unless you've made so much money, you know what I mean? You're up there with the Jay-Z's and the Beyonce's and LeBron. Then yeah, LeBron can do that $50 million. But if you're somebody like myself, or you come like Gilbert Arenas, he's from North Hollywood. I know people who knew Gilbert Arenas from when I was in North Hollywood High. One of my buddies said that Gilbert Arenas was who was teaching him how to play ball. So I know where Gilbert is from. He's from right where I'm at. Hell no, you don't give up no $50 million for an opportunity after you've already earned that money. Now that he got it in his pocket, and he can live and fund his own show without needing any investors or nothing, and have the highest quality show possible because he got wealth and his family straight, his kid is straight. No, you don't give him no. $120 million is a hell of a lot of money. Don't get it twisted. You have wealth, and some could say that's greed talking. But when you think about the grand scheme of things, when you start understanding what money is actually out there and how quickly $1 billion can be snatched from you, or $8 billion can be snatched from you, and how much people can be suing you once you get into that level, you may need $50 million just for the lawyers alone. Literally. Literally. And so in situations like that, you start thinking, okay, Nah, I'm not giving up that money, man. Not for an opportunity after my career's over. Now that I'm sitting on the funds, when I look back on my life 10 years back, do I miss having a championship $50 million worth? Nah, I don't miss having a championship $50 million worth. No. No. Now, if I just have that passion, again, if you're like a Kobe or you're Michael and you're passionate to that degree and you know you're going to be, Shaq, and you know it's about rings for you and you already made $1 billion, then yes, I expect for you to have a different scope on $50 million. You know what I mean? If you're Steve Ballmer, I expect you to have a different scope on $2 billion. You know what I mean? When you up 150 of those. But at the end of the day, relative to where you're at, a guy like Gilbert Arenas comes from humble beginnings and is now in a position to say he's very wealthy. Heck no, he ain't gonna give up a sixth or whatever, a fourth of his wealth or whatever that number would be, just to have an opportunity at the championship glory. It's an amazing experience, I'd imagine, but it ain't $50 million worth of an amazing experience if the money's already in my family. You understand what I'm saying? If the generational wealth is already in my family. Now, if you're asking me to beforehand make that decision, I'll say from person to person, it makes a different story. It depends on who you are, man, honestly. But after you got it, and now I'm supposed to give it back, nobody should be looking to do that. No. $50 million for a $500,000 ring. It's not a $500,000 ring. It's a once in a lifetime experience. But you gotta understand what it is you're dealing with here when you're talking about that amount of money and what exactly what that experience is actually going to mean to you. You know what I mean? It can mean a lot to a lot of people. Then we know of superstars who have sold their championship rings because they've been poor, man. After they finish winning it, they got to pawn them things because that's how far they fall. Now, if they had a chance of getting $50 million extra dollars, you think they would, in these times when they selling them rings for $500,000, would say, yo, that memory was a hell of a memory. Yeah, it's worth $50 million to me. No, it cannot possibly be worth $50 million to most of those people. Absolutely not. Not when they find themselves at the end of their careers having lost all their money. Yeah, it's a guy like Antoine Walker. If a championship opportunity is with the Heat is worth more than $50 million after what happened with him, I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm willing to bet most people in his shoes will say, yo, you can have that championship. I wasn't even a star for that championship. I was running with LeBron and them. It wasn't even with the Boston Celtics when they would call me Cybertwan. Now, far be it for me to put myself in his shoes, but he's just the best example because I know of what happened with his finances. So, $50 million, man. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. And that's coming from somebody who's made the argument that some should. I'm just in a different space in my life right now. I have much more respect for stuff like that now than I did when we were having those conversations about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I'm telling y'all, generational wealth transcends your experiences on basketball. When you can think about all the different things you could do with that money, how many people you can feed with that money, how many people you can invest in, and they can help do other things with other. No, you just got to respect that amount, and you got to respect what it is that your experience is going to be in the championship. Your experience is yours. You know, it's in your memory. You got the pictures of that. That was your time. But with all due respect to anybody, that's just selfishness, fam. All you think about is yourself. When you talk about $50 million, who all can you help? Who all can you do what with? You can lead other people to an opportunity to get championships for themselves based on the money you can invest in them and in their lifestyle. There's too much you can do with that amount of money. Too much. To be talking about, I wish I had an experience. An experience? Man, if you don't hold on to that bread. So no, I just have a more mature way of looking at it. And again, money is not my God. Y'all know that. I don't believe in selling out and different stuff like that. But once the money's in my family, and I'm not talking about just my account, I'm talking about generational wealth that I pass in my family. You can give to people that I love, take care of my friends and family. Hell no, I'm not giving them no $50 million just to have an experience of my very own. That I can go to sleep at night and just say, I won something. That ain't worth $50 million. It's not. Unless I'm up. Way up. And some may say 120 is that. Some may say 120 is that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Based on what it is, my understanding of what money is, I don't. I think that's a lot of money. I think you consider yourself wealthy, but you're not in a space where you should be giving up $50 million if you have 170. No, I don't think so. I really don't. Call me crazy. Call me greedy. I'll pray about it. Maybe I'm greedy. But if I have $170 million, I'm not parting with 50 million of them for a personal experience of glory. I'm not doing that. I give the glory to God and thank you for the 50. BDL 44. Thank you all for watching. Out.